And welcome back to News Center. Thank you for staying with us. We have about half an hour to go before the show ends. All right, but before that happens, Alego Usonga, Member of Parliament Sam Atandi, was speaking a few moments ago about the elusive free primary school education. And we now want to cross over to my colleague Kevin Ogutu, who's standing by with him. Kevin, good morning. Talk to us more about this particular issue that the Member of Parliament there is raising.
A very good morning, Betty. Actually, it's quite a sunny morning right here at the lakeside city of Kisumu. And talking about education, this is actually the second week since the opening of the schools in the Kenya, according to the Kenya school calendar. And now, just a few moments ago, Alego Usonga, member of Parliament, Mr. Sam Atandi, has already made claims that a number of students who are supposed to benefit from the government's free day secondary school initiative are back at home. The reason being that they've been sent by the respective school principals because they don't have the required fees. So this is what the Member of Parliament has brought forth this morning, and I would like him to actually, as a policy maker, as a legislator, tell us why we are where we are right now. Mr. Sam Atandi, welcome to KTN News. You're saying that the students cannot get education, yet the government said it is free day secondary school. Why are we here?
Yeah, thank you. As I have already indicated, there's a policy for free secondary school for the scholars. But unfortunately, since last week and yesterday, day schools across this region have already sent schools out of classes, students out of classes, for the reason that they need to provide school fees, which is supposed to cater for their lunches. And as far as I'm concerned, this is illegal because students are supposed to stay in classes whether they eat or not. Yeah, so this is really the issue that we really want the Ministry of Education to urgently address, because we have county and sub-county education officers on the ground, and our fear is that I think there's collusion. Yeah, so with this, it must be addressed once and for all, and that is one. Two, the other issue is that there's this capitation which the ministry is supposed to meet for the various schools in the country. There are some schools that have already met the requirements, and since January, the government has not sent any coin to those schools. So again, this is really working against the government policy for free secondary day education. So these are very urgent, and it must be addressed once and for all, because we don't want to have a situation where, on one hand, the government says we are providing free secondary education for the scholars. On the other hand, the people on the ground are actually sending students out of classes. So this is really the concern that we have is here in Kisumu, in Siaya, across this region. This is what's happening. And the principals are actually being courageous enough, to tell parents that, no, you have to pay this one. We are saying that this must be rectified because it is illegal in our view.
So you're saying with the capitation, there will actually be no reason for principals to ask for these extra fees?
Exactly. There should be no reason for any other additional fee, because the government is meeting the resources, providing the resources that is required for the schools to be sustainable. And two, using our resources, which is allocated to us through the CDF, we are also meeting the infrastructural needs of some of these schools. And so we really do not want our parents to be burdened again by these illegal requirements for additional school fees. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. That is Mr. Sam Atandi, the Member of Parliament for Alego Usonga, our constituency. And according to his statement, the blame now actually lies with the government and also on the side of the principals, because on one side we have the government making promise of capitation, and on the other hand we have these extra fees being charged by the school heads. Back to you in studio, Betty.
All right, thanks for that, Kevin Ogutu there, reporting from Kisumu. All right, for now though, we want to cross over to another press briefing which is currently underway, and this is by the Chief Kathi of Kenya, Sheikh Mudar Hussein, and his deputy Sheikh Ali Omar. Let's just listen in to what they have to say. They are set to give a position on Islam regarding the issue of FGM. Let's listen to what they have to say.
Sources being claimed by some people which are more spurious and weak in nature that maybe can be sourced from that Islam allows the issue. That might be the predominant to the pastoral communities. The pastoral communities have actually borrowed these things not from Islam, but from the cultural aspect, especially the Egyptian communities long time ago. And they took it, brought it with them, and amalgamated it to Islam. That is the status. It is amalgamated to Islam. However, the first generation of the Muslim, and the second, and the three generations, early generations, we traced their literatures, and we found an old literature that is allowing that one from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's time downward coming. We were looking for the generation and whether there is a source to that one. We did not find any. That means, therefore, female genital mutilation has no basis in Islam. Whatsoever is being carried by Muslims or non-Muslims, especially the pastoralists, is purely depending on the culture which has been for generation within the communities, and it became a law for them. That is the position. Now, how about the Muslim jurists? Because this is a legal element now. It shifted from other issues to the legal perspectives. As I have mentioned, the Anti-Genital Mutilation Act of 2011 that has been enacted and revised to 2012. As it is, the Muslim jurists are in consensus. It is a consensus of the Muslim jurists that the principle of considering public good and interest that secure public and individual welfare and well-being by protecting what is beneficial and prohibiting against harm or injuries to any person or any society is therefore not allowed in Islam. The basis for the same derives from the Prophet's traditional sayings that no harm shall be inflicted or reciprocated. Similarly, Aisha was quoted, that is the wife of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as saying, the Prophet used to choose the easier of two alternatives. When there are two alternatives, in this regard, where there is actually inflicting body harm to somebody, a male, a female child, or anybody else whatsoever, and to leave it, which is the easier perspective of it. The status quo should remain by the human must be holy. For men, I don't say for women. For women, not for men, sorry. The circumcision of men is there established, but for women, no at all. There is nothing on that one. Therefore, the harm should be punished away with, and the infliction is not allowed. That is violation of the law. Islamic law itself, the act itself is a violation of the Islamic law, therefore. And therefore can lead to a sin. It can lead even to a sin by doing contrary to what God has. So you see that it is sinful from the Islamic perspective to do this female genital mutilation. Regardless of what people held, but we are talking of the authentic aspects of the law, that it leads to a sin because you have gone against what actually you have no basis for it, and you have even refused to say that when you have been told that the law is this way. The principle, there is another principle, Islamic law. I am talking of the secondary sources. The primary sources are the Quran and the Sunnah, and they are silent about it. In such regard, we now go to the other secondary sources from the Islamic perspectives. The principle of istishab al-asl, the originality, that is the continuity of the existing rule, which in Islam was that human beings should be holy. Mutilation should be avoided. Any shift of paradigm from that aspects of not touching actually the organs should be contrary to the Islamic law. And the prevailing circumstances of Islam allows for female to be holy should be employed, and that one is actually the real perspectives of the Islamic law. The principle of Saddu Dhara'i may apply to this case. What does it mean then? If there is a problem that might arise out of the activities which is being handled culturally, and then medically or health-wise, it is found that it is harmful to the person, then, or hazard to it, or to the woman who is infected with, hence the means which is leading to that one shall be blocked or obstructed completely. Therefore, female genital mutilation contravenes the essence and the directions of the objectives of the Islamic law, which are, among others, to protect the welfare of family, dignity, wealth, health, and the mental capability of individuals and the community as a whole. In this regard, consequently, we as Muslim scholars strongly uphold that female genital mutilation has no basis in Islamic law, as contrary to the cultures and norms of the African communities and the pastoralists who practices the same. Thank you very much. If there is an additional from Sheikh and the okay, so.
All right, so that is the leaders, cross-section of leaders drawn from the Muslim community, of course, headed by the Chief Qadi there, giving their highlights and the position on FGM. We want now to look at a number of tweets here. Of course, going back to our Twitter poll this morning, remember that it was politically inclined, and we were asking you if indeed you support that proposal to have Raila Odinga on the ballot come 2022. It is one that has received a lot of reactions. Many people have really tweeted. Let me sample a few here before we wind up the show very quickly. Josiah A. Omoto, you say there is a time to contest, a time to hand over the baton. Though allowed by law, whatever level, vying for electoral seats again and again and again is selfish and indignifying. All right. Rennie Isibo, you say no, no, no. All right. Somebody here also. Steve Biko Ken Japala, you say you're waiting for another handshake moment. Frederick Njumu, I beg your pardon, says, I fully support. Jay Mecca, you say, I fully support. We have a lot of Kenyan politicians who won't triumph without Raila's name on the ballot. So let him be on the ballot so he can protect some individuals, though he's not going to win anything. Didashus Hill, you say, democracy means freedom for all and equal rights to all. If he so wishes, then let it be. Alain Ahmed Jafar, you say no, let other young Kenyans get a chance to seek the top position. Let's also, okay, Robert Kimani giving media a challenge. You're saying apart from politics and 2022 succession, what else can our media do that can help our country? Interesting question you have there. Thank you for that. Salvikari Omonto, you say, why not? Raila has every right to vie. It's because of a stolen victory of Raila that today we are still struggling with issues to do with tribalism, corruption, extreme poverty, and unemployment. Baba is the president we need. He's been vindicated. All right. Thank you for your comments. There are so many, but I really appreciate each and every one of them. We'll continue to look at them and also follow the discussion online even after the show. But before we wrap up the show, let's just take a look at some sporting news. And I will miss you, Arsene Wenger told the Arsenal fans after being given a fitting farewell in his final home game in charge after 22 years of a 5-0 thrashing of Burnley on Sunday. On a day dominated by tributes to the Frenchman, both teams formed a guard of honor for Wenger, who 68 before kickoff to a chorus of There's Only One Arsene Wenger, all round a full house of 60,000 people at the Emirates.